Hello and welcome to our latest Cambly Live session. Please, straight away, go to the chat box, send us a hello, tell us where you are from. To those of you that don't know, Cambly is a great platform that is web-based and an application where you can get one-on-one English tuition with people like me. My name is Teacher Daryl. I see hellos coming in. Hello from Japan. Hello from everyone. Please send us some more. Tell us where you're from. Say a shout out to the rest of the people watching and all of us here. Hello from Russia. Glad to have you join us. Please keep that coming. So here we are at our latest Cambly Live session. Today, we are doing negative sentences and negative questions. I see some more. Hello from Brazil, from Niger, from Israel, from Pakistan, from London, from the Czech Republic, from Jordan, from Moldova. Thank you for joining us. Please keep it coming. Now, just to understand what a negative sentence is straight away, I've got our example here. He doesn't or does not work, and doesn't he work? Just so you understand that what we're looking at today is everything to do with the not and the abbreviation doesn't, didn't, don't. I see some more shout outs from France, from Saudi Arabia, from South Africa, from Italy. Thank you for joining us. So that is what we're doing today. Negative sentences, the not. And why are we doing that today? Because this causes a lot of confusion. Often there can be confusion as to where to put the not in the sentence. If there are several verbs and auxiliary verbs and modal verbs that are all together, there can be confusion as to where should I put the not. Obviously, there can also be confusion about the abbreviation. Doesn't, don't. Is it the same thing? And there can be confusion about the tense. Do I use won't? Do I use don't? Do I use didn't? So today, we are going to go through all of that. And at the same time, we'll actually have a little revision of all the different tenses. Because obviously, negative sentences and the negative part of the sentence changes depending on the tense. And then also, we will go through how to ask questions in this form with these verbs. And today is an interactive session. I will be giving some exercises for you guys to do. We'll take a few breaks. And so please, for those breaks, if you have questions about negative sentences and negative questions, please send them through so that we can answer them. And of course, send through the exercises so that we can mark it and grade it as we go. So I'm going to look at the last few shout outs here from Thailand, from Azerbaijan, another Italy, another India. Welcome. All right, let us start. Now, negative sentences and negative questions all have to do with what I call extra verbs. Now, we have a verb. For instance, here I've used work, I've used play in the exercises, but we also have the extra verbs, which is occurring everywhere in the different tenses. And these are the auxiliary verbs and the modal verbs. Let's take a look and refresh ourselves as to what those mean. Now, auxiliary verbs are things like do, be, and have. Those are our main auxiliary verbs. And you can see that obviously these change depending on who we are talking about. So for example, in the sentence, I do work, it's the do because I'm using I. If I have he, she, or it, I use does. Now, this is basic, so you guys should know this. But what you must always realize is that I don't need the do or the does. And often, most native speakers these days, we drop those. We dropped them many years ago, and we just say, I work. He works. Okay? but we can imagine that they are still there when we need to think about the negative sentences. So I want you to imagine that the do and the does are there, but they are invisible. So they're always there, they're just invisible. Then we have the other auxiliary verb, a be. And again, this changes depending on who we're talking about, what the tense is. I am there. She is there. They were working. So we've got a continuous tense. We've got a simple tense, be. And then, of course, we've got have, which can change to had, depending again on the tense. I have done it. She had done it. And we can see that these extra verbs always go before our main verb, the basic grammar structure of English. And then we have all these modal verbs. Now, I've only put a few here. There are a lot of other modal verbs, but these are some of the more common ones. Can, I can do it. Can, as again, a quick reminder, is about ability. So I can do it. I have the ability to do it. Could, she could do it, which is usually ability in the past. She could run 10 miles when she was younger. Would, which is usually in the future. I would do it. If I had the ability, I would do it in the future. And must, which is an obligation. I must work. It's an obligation. And we're not doing modal verbs today. That's just a refresher. But modals obviously occur, again, as extra verbs in a sentence. So I could say, I can work. I could work. I would work. I must work. He must work. He could work. He must be working. And it's important to know the modal and the auxiliary verbs for negatives because that is our main rule. Let's look at it straight away. The question is, where do we put the not? Especially if we have a lot of auxiliary verbs and modal verbs all together. We always attach it to the first extra verb. So it doesn't matter what the order is. The first extra verb is going to get that not, and it's going to get that abbreviation. Let's look at some examples here. Okay, so I don't work. The first auxiliary verb there is do. So I'm attaching the not, the not, to I don't work. Same thing, he doesn't work. It's the first one, so I attach it. And you can see I've done the expansion of the abbreviation. Most people are not going to say I do not work. In normal, natural speech, we're going to speak about don't and doesn't. So sometimes abbreviations can cause, and contractions can cause a little bit of a problem. Get into the habit of using them. It's much more natural. Let's look at another one. They weren't working. So here, this started as they were working. It's a simple continuous tense. We have it over here. They were working. And again, it's the first verb, the first extra verb. So we add the not onto it. And then we have a modal and an auxiliary verb. I can do it. Now, the first extra verb is can. I can do it. So because that's the first one, I add the not onto the first extra verb. So I won't say I can don't it. That won't make any sense. Or I can do not it. It has to go to the first extra verb. I can't do it. Same thing here. I should be here. So the first extra verb is the modal should. That's where I attach the not. I should not, I shouldn't be here. And obviously, and we'll see a few examples now, there can be a whole line of modals and auxiliary verbs, especially when we're looking at a perfect tense and a continuous tense and a modal verb. Again, we're going to go right to the beginning, and we always attach it to the first extra verb. And to give you some exercises for this, I've got some stuff. So start sending through your answers. I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to read it out. So some simple sentences. You've already got the rule now. We've got he plays. We've got I work there, and she should be playing. So start sending through your answers and any other questions you have. And after we look at present tenses, we're going to go and grade this and take some questions. All right. So we've got the rules. We know it's about extra verbs. Let's look at a whole bunch of examples to do with that. So the first one is present. Just getting my position here. Present simple. And here's a bit of a revision, obviously. So we've got I and do, he, she, and it, and does, and they, we, and you do. And straight away, we can see that we have to add the not onto these. And so this one's pretty simple. I don't do it. He doesn't work. They don't play. What can cause confusion here, and what often happens, is that people might use this for future tense. So what I want you to know straight away is, if you know your original tenses, do, does, and do, you're going to know that this is only for present. It's what's happening now. So we can't say, I don't do it then, because that's for the future. And we can't use don't. So that is present simple. Then let's move on to present continuous. Now, again, this is a little bit of a revision. I and am, he, she, it, and is, and we, they, and you are. Now, what do you see here? This is very important as well. Am, we add the not onto it, but it does not become amnent. That is not a word that we use. I don't have a reason for you as to why we don't use it, but it's not used. So am not, we can abbreviate to I'm not, but we can't put these two together as we put the others together. The others we can use. He isn't, she isn't, it isn't. We aren't, they aren't, you aren't. And again, the same thing can happen here. People sometimes use aren't, isn't for the future or even for the past. So if we remember our tenses, this is only for present, present continuous. And then finally, let's look at present perfect. All right, and there we know we're going to have the have, the has, or the have. So I haven't, he, she, it hasn't, we, they, you haven't. And again, we must be careful about our tenses in the future and the present, and know that this again is just for the present. All right, so that is a little bit of revision, and we can see that those are the only ones we use for present simple, present continuous, and present perfect. Now, let's go to the chat and see if you guys have sent through the answers to our exercise. Let me get out my mouse here. All right, I see someone sending through, I don't work there. Very good. She shouldn't be playing. She shouldn't be playing. He doesn't play. I'm very happy about that. As you can see, we've got the S here. We have to remove that. So very good, Maurizio Colia. Well done. Who else is sent through here? We've got Louise Swart, Raj Kumar. We've got Vukar Hasiev. I hope I'm saying these correctly. Thank you for sending through. Now, someone has asked a question, what are helping verbs? Now, helping verbs is another word for something like a modal verb or an auxiliary verb. It's something that gives us extra information. And obviously, if it's a modal or an auxiliary, and it's going to be affected by the negative sentence as well. So there's no specific thing called a helping verb. It is, again, the same things that we're looking at right now. Thank you for that question. All right, and well, I'm happy to see that the people that have sent through the answers got them right. Someone's asking, what is a modal verb? Now, a modal verb, again, just a quick revision here, is another extra verb, and as another question said, it is a helping verb. It gives us extra information about the verb. So let's just look at can. Can, as a modal verb, is about ability. It means I have the ability to do it. It doesn't mean I will do it. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. I can run. Doesn't mean I will run. So modal verbs give us extra information and therefore change the meaning of the verb. All right. So let me give you another set of exercises to do. This will be for our next break. Now, these are questions. Now, we're going to do some questions later, but I'd like you guys to try now as well. So the question is, can he play? Had she been playing? And would she play? So you guys can start sending through the answers for that. And also, again, any more questions that you have. We're going to move on to the past tenses. So let's take a look. All right, so the past tenses, just get them here. So we're going to start with past simple. Now, past is obviously a little easier. We don't have all of those complicated things. So I, he, she, it, we, they, and you all go to did, which is obviously the past tense of do. I did the work. I did it. So when we use a negative for the past tense, for the past simple, it's always going to be didn't. Now, this causes a lot of confusion as well. Often, people will use don't for the past tense. So what I want you to remember is the past tense of do is did. And so we are always going to go to didn't for the past tense. I will give you an easy way to remember it, actually. Obviously, we know from English grammar that a lot of words we are going to add ed onto when we change them into the past tense. And this word has it as well. There is the D at the end. So if you think to yourself, which word do I use for the past tense? It's going to be the one with the D at the end, like all those other words, like worked, talked, walked. So that is past simple. All right, let's move on to past continuous. Past continuous. I was, he, she, it was, they, we, you were. And you know what I'm going to say here already. This causes confusion because people will use the simple, the present for the past. We know if it's I was, if we did it in the past, it's wasn't. And if they were doing it in the past, then they weren't doing it in the past. So also quite easy. And now we're going to get a little bit more complex. We've got firstly our past perfect tense. I, she, he, you, we, they had and hadn't done something. So I hadn't washed the car. Something happened in the past. And then we've got the past perfect continuous. So I, he, she, you, we had been, and remember, this is also going to have the ing. In fact, I will write it down. I must have forgotten to write that down, and I don't want you guys to not have that. So remember, that's going to be I had been working, or I hadn't been working. And what do we see here? It's the same rule that we had from before. The first extra verb gets the NT, the NOT, the not. I hadn't been working. So we keep with our rule, and even if we have a complex tense, it's going to work. All right, and then let's move on to future. Now, future can also cause some confusion. With future, we've got two words that are usually used, will or would. So we use it, I would, I will, she would, she will, you, we, they. But, and this is very important, as you can see, there is no willn't. We will never take will and not and put it together as willn't. We don't do that. I think, and I know that it was done like many hundreds of years ago, like Shakespeare's time, but we don't do it now. Now, we only say won't. So we can say will not, would not, and most people for the future tense are going to say won't. Wouldn't is there because it's a modal and has a different meaning. Remember that wouldn't, as we said earlier, it's about I would do this. If I had the ability, I would do it. But it doesn't mean I will do it. It doesn't mean it's going to happen for sure. So most times we're going to use won't and wouldn't when we want to slightly alter the meaning and say, I don't know if I have the ability. But won't is going to be what we're going to use. And there is our future continuous as well. Again, there's no willn't be. It's won't be or wouldn't be. And again, that can cause confusion because a lot of people use don't for the future. You know, if will is for the future tense, then won't is for our future negative tense. And then, final thing, a little bit more confusing, is our future perfect tense. So will and have. And this can be confusing. We've got now, again, two different extra verbs. We know from the rule, we're just going to put the not onto the first one. So I won't have, I would not have, I will not have. We're going to put it onto the first one, not the second one. And then just to make things a little bit more confusing, we've got our future perfect continuous. And I'll also add the ing there for you. I will have been doing it. I will not have been doing it. We stick with the same rule. We put the not onto the first extra verb. So even when it's a complex series of words here, we stick with our rule, and it's going to make everything easy. All right, so those are all the different tenses. We really went through all of them, did a bit of revision. Let's go to the chat and see how you guys are doing with the questions. All right, so I won't kill you. Someone has sent through a nice example. I won't kill you. Someone has asked something about shan't. Now shan't, which let me write it out. Shan't is a very old word, which comes from shouldn't in a way. I shan't do something is another way to say I shouldn't do something. But that's not really used these days in normal, native, natural English. So I would avoid that. Do not use shan't. It's not really useful. I will be drinking all night, Nepal Boy tells us, and I had been drinking all night. Thank you. I wasn't supposed to go. Can't he play? We've got an answer here from Al Hanuf S. Again, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Can't he play? Hadn't she been playing? Wouldn't she play? Those are correct. Well done. Thank you. And another one from Marina A756. He can't play. She hadn't been playing. She wouldn't play. So kind of answering our questions. Let's see. He did not understand. She did not work. Very good. Thank you. Fitri Andusti. And All right, if you have any, I see a question about ain't as well. Let me make this big. So ain't is actually something that we hear, and it does have a useful, it does have a meaning that is useful, and it can cause a little confusion. When do we use ain't and where does it come from? Ain't actually comes from are not, or even am not. Now remember what we said earlier, we don't put am and not together. It does not become amn't. So ain't is kind of that word. And ain't is not an accepted formal way to speak. Ain't is more slang, almost idiomatic. So we might say something like, he ain't doing it, which means he is not doing it, or they ain't doing it, they are not doing it. So we could really put ain't into any space, and it has a different feeling of informality, and there's a feeling of rebellion in that word. So ain't is not something you can use in a formal way, but you can use it informally in a fun way to emphasize maybe a little bit of fun and rebelliousness in what you're saying. So that was a good question. Thank you. All right. Now, the final thing we're going to do is how to ask questions. And a lot of people got these right, so that's good. This will just be a little bit of revision for you. So how do we ask questions with these different modals and auxiliary verbs? All right. So again, what we're going to do is say that this is a simple formula. A simple formula. So how do we ask negative questions? What I want you to do is to think of the contraction that we've been looking at. Things like don't, doesn't, isn't. That is our beginning word. If we start with that word, the rest of the question is going to work easily. So we start with the contraction. For example, didn't, and then we will add the subject. So didn't he, and then we will add the verb. So didn't he work? So it's really a very simple formula. Didn't he work? Hasn't she worked? We can obviously change all of the tenses depending on what we're asking, but it's the same basic formula. Contraction, subject, verb. Didn't she work? Didn't he work? Didn't I work? Doesn't she work? Don't they do it? Didn't they do it? Can't he play? Hadn't she been playing? Wouldn't she play? So don't forget, we can do it for the modals as well. Wouldn't she play? So if you are feeling confused and you don't know how to ask the question with a not, put everything at the beginning, then the person, then the verb, and you're not going to go wrong. All right. So we have done quite a lot today with our negative sentences and negative questions. Let's just quickly go over the two most important things that we've said today. Firstly, we've got auxiliary verbs, modal verbs. Those are extra verbs. The not always attaches to the first extra verb. If we do that, then all our tenses are going to make sense in the negative form. And when we're asking questions, the first word is going to be that negative contraction. Didn't he work? Wouldn't she play? All right. And I want to thank everyone who sent through all of the fun sentences. I've never seen the one anything about killing in our chat before, so that was very funny. Thank you. Thank you for participating with the exercises. And I have a special gift for our Cambly Live viewers, which is a discount code that you can use right now. Go to Cambly and use the discount code Go Live. That is GOLIVE. Go and use Go Live, and you can get a big discount. I'm not really sure of the exact amount, but go and use it. Like I said, Cambly is an amazing platform where you can get one-on-one tuition with tutors just like me and just like all the other Cambly Live tutors. And we can do anything that you need, whether it's IELTS preparation, grammar, just conversation, whatever you need. If you want to learn more with me, you can check out the link in the description. I want to say thank you again for joining us today. Please join us again. Go and keep studying English and keep safe, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.